Yeah. This is Lady Mogul Talk, talking about black excellence. Ladies building legacies, fostering communities. There'll be topics to grow with dynamic heroes. Time to secure the bag, elevate your goals, yeah. If you gotta grind, go ahead and take some time. Free your mind, leave your worries behind. Expand your possibilities while learning new strategies. Every time with Avery, knowledge will be guaranteed on Lady Mogul Talk.
Welcome back to another segment of Lady Mogul Talk. And today we have a very special guest, Lashawn Dreher of Black Women Hustle, editor-in-chief of EMOIR Magazine, and a powerhouse marketing strategist who amplifies Black women's voices and businesses. She has facilitated workshops for thousands of Black women entrepreneurs, educating them on evolving marketing strategies, curating memorable content, digital monetization, and effectively building social capital. Working with prominent clients, she has expanded audiences, created nationwide events, tours, content, and campaigns, and organized partnerships with companies, including The Essence Magazine, the Sisters in Business Expo, Meetup, and Thinkific. She has grown digital audiences of 300 plus for multiple women's platforms, increasing engagement, revenue, and enhancing their online experiences. She emerged as the networking maven when she launched Black Women Hustle, the global all in one networking platform for a collective of 110,000 plus Black women entrepreneurs, professionals, and creatives. With every connection, women are positioned to network with purpose, learn from industry leading experts, and grow profitable businesses. Her notable features include recognition as Gender Equality Innovator by Ticket Taylor and Women's History Month honors by Rolling Out. LaShawn's energetic persona motivates Black women to show up authentically, to take action and authority over their lives. So I'm so excited to welcome LaShawn to the stage.
Thank you so much, Avery. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me here.
I want to start off by asking what inspired you to become an entrepreneur and how do you get started? I'm always curious about everyone's start.
So becoming an entrepreneur wasn't it was in the plan eventually, but it wasn't what I planned for at that time. I had gone through a really, really rough year, Saturn return, for those who are familiar, where I moved to work for this job. I needed something new. I didn't get the opportunity I wanted at my current job. So I went for it. And I ended up quitting that job 3 months later because of all the reasons why any Black woman would leave corporate, you name it, it's in the reason why I quit. But I ended up having a really rough year. And in that, I started doing little small things like resumes, websites, getting back into some of the things that I actually liked doing, like loved doing at the time. And that just kind of led me into learning more about Instagram. Got on social media and I was just like, this isn't bad. Like I can navigate this space, and then realizing that I could do this for other people. And that kind of led me into the marketing field to sit here and say, let me go and take this course. Let's go and register and get the certification. And just growing from there, learn experience is the best teacher, of course, but getting those certifications and then gaining that experience. And then I was just like, I'll do this, I'll do this part-time while I still work these other roles. And eventually I had to relocate and no one would hire me. I couldn't find a job. And it was just like, hey, it's go time. It's go time, put this thing in gear. Let's figure out what we can do. And I started doing more contract roles with people on the marketing side of things. And Black Women Hustle came along around that same time, where I was just having all this dialogue with people about, what's going on in our communities. How are y'all feeling? What is your opinion on this or that? Asking Black men and women, all these questions. And it ended up coming to me making a decision based on it's just some unfortunate news I'd heard about how we work together. And it's 2018 was just it was a transformational year. It was just like, hey, it's now or never. It's time to dive into your dreams, and a spice, a little dash of you don't have a choice. So that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey.
Wow, that is amazing. And it's always great to set the foundation of where someone started to see where they have come. So you started Black Women Hustle, which I absolutely love. Of course, it's Black Women Moguls. Why did you decide to curate something specifically for Black women?
Yeah. So in that part where I said I like to have a lot of dialogue on social media, I had asked this specific question: what has your experience been like working with other Black women? And the responses were horrible. And I thought to myself, I know what I'm like. I know what other Black women are like. I know other Black women that I've worked with, and we work well together. We collaborate well together. We look out for one another, and I wanted that for everybody else too. So it's just like to see these women with these disheartening responses. If you're not like that and I'm not like that, why can't we just have a community where we can trust one another, we can build together, we can provide each other with the resources and opportunities we need to grow? And that was the start of it, honestly. And what it's grown into was, of course, beyond my vision, but it's one of the most beautiful things just to see us connecting and collaborating in ways that allow us to just grow and continue to be ourselves authentically without having to code switch or do all the things that make us uncomfortable in most corporate spaces or spaces where people have these expectations of what Black women are supposed to be like. This is who we are and this is what we do, and we're going to do it well, and we're going to do it together.
Right. I love that. So, of course, we have been in the space for a little bit for Black women entrepreneurs, and we've seen a massive movement of Black women entrepreneurs. However, we still face challenges even from those early studies. So what do you think faces Black women the most when it comes to growing and building their business? And then how do you think that they can overcome it?
Oh, it's a loaded question. And I'm like, I want to answer in the best way possible. Of
It
course, funding.
is.
Funding is number one. It's always difficult for us to find opportunities that we are actually capable of obtaining. Sometimes it's like we have to look for the grant opportunities that specifically focus on Black women-owned businesses or minority-owned businesses. Otherwise, it's going to be like a needle in a haystack trying to get selected to win a grant or get selected to participate in a pitch competition. But funding, we know how much is allocated to Black women-owned businesses. It's pennies compared to what other businesses get. So that part usually holds a lot of people back because we have to end up bootstrapping, and that bootstrapping ends up leading to even more debt. It's like, at what point do we realize like something has to change and we have to pivot in order to have the money to sustain our businesses? And it's like, if we don't find it, we got to dissolve this business. So it's the funding piece. And honestly, I think sometimes it's the opportunity. Just having people give us a chance without, again, those expectations of what a Black woman should be, what this Black woman owned business should look like. Open the door for me. You never know what I can bring to this table, or what I have in mind, the vision that could expand your business as well, your investment portfolio, whatever this looks like. But just giving each other the opportunity, and other people giving Black women the opportunity to just thrive and grow, because there's so much within us. Everybody knows that we are the blueprint when it comes to innovation, creativity, all those things. And so just having the ability to put ourselves in that room, or having someone just open that door to say, you know what, let's give this a chance. Let's give this idea a chance and see where it goes, without being shut out so much. So I think that those are some of the things that help. But in from a standpoint of what it looks like for us, just like personally, Black woman to Black woman, I think us uniting is what's going to transform that. There are plenty of communities, Black Women Moguls, Black Women Hustle, Sisters in Business Expo, Sister Biz. There are so many communities that are already out here, Gold Slayers Tribe as well, that build Black women-owned businesses, and we utilize every resource we have. We put each other's names in the rooms. Even though we may do similar things, there is no competition. We want to see each other thrive. We want to see how successful we can be when we work together. So I think us utilizing what's already here and designed specifically for us is also going to play a major factor in how we succeed.
And you have the perfect segue into my next question because you've touched on it about networking and building relationships. So, for those who might be a little shy, or maybe they're not shy, but they don't know how to get started, being in the right rooms and connecting with individuals, what advice would you have for them?
Okay, if you're shy, my first thing is get over it. It's a hard truth. It's a
It
hard
is.
truth. You have to get over it. But if you're shy, put yourself in more rooms, and that doesn't always mean you have to go to this huge conference. Excuse me. It doesn't mean you have to go to this huge conference and put yourself in the most intimidating space filled with like hundreds of people who seem like, they're on their P's and Q's. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what to say, because it's not always the case.
Mhm.
I don't want to say, fake it. Like just fake it until you get there. You see a lot of people walking around with their head held high, like I got it together. They don't have it together, but they're working through it. The way they presented themselves is everything. They presented themselves with confidence. They walked in this room like, I own this. I know who I am. I know what I want, and I'm here to obtain it. You have to do the same. You have to put those fears aside and think about what you want. If you wanted to be in that space, show up like your why. This is why I
Mm.
want to be here. I want to present myself in this way that allows people to connect with me. I want to attract more people to me so we can, make some genuine connections. But you have to let go of those fears and just put yourself in those spaces. But if you aren't shy, put yourself in the spaces, shoot the shots. I tell everybody all the time, shoot the shots, send the DMs, know exactly what you want from this situation, exactly what they'll get out of it too, because I don't believe in making it a one-way street when it comes to networking and making connections. You have to go in knowing this is what I'm bringing to the table. And this is also, what I would like in return. How can we make this happen? What's the best way possible? And do your research. Know exactly who you want to talk to, or the different companies that might be in this room, or how they can work with your business. Always know how other people can work within your business. And if you can't, think about it while they're speaking. That carries the conversation. It still keeps it catered toward them, but it allows you to think, what can we do to work together to make this a mutually beneficial relationship? But you have to put the fears
Mhm.
aside. Just show up. Show up.
Mhm. You bring up a very good point. One of my biggest mottos is do it scared. And as you were speaking, I remember my early days of networking. I wouldn't necessarily call myself shy, but I can be a homebody at times. So sometimes even in the early days of networking, I would use my friends as a crutch. And so eventually I said, okay, I need to start going to events by myself, so I could push myself out my comfort zone, not stick to the wall with my friend. Even if we would go to people, together and meet people, I still need to branch out on my own. So some things I would do is like, okay, I'm going to meet 3 people today at least and meet that goal and make sure I follow up with them. So it doesn't happen overnight. It's okay if you want to take it in small increments, but the important thing is to put yourself out there. So I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And friends can be the crutch. It's because they're comfortable, they're familiar.
Right.
And
Hmm.
that, if you want to do something new is never comfortable nor familiar. You have to start doing things on your own. And the first time I actually met you, you were by yourself. You were
Was
coming
I?
to Yep, you were coming to at the Sisters in Business Expo, and I was like, I know this brand. And I walked up and I'm like, okay, she's by herself. And I'm like, that's a boss. Like, you don't, not that you don't need anybody else, but you were
Right.
confident enough in who you were to just be like, this is who I am. Nice to meet you. We'll connect. Like, it's just being confident enough to just say, I am who I am. I know what I want, and I'm ready to connect with other people. How can we make this happen?
Hmm. And even with when I want to stay home, when I go out to these events, I just feel like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I showed up, because if I hadn't shown up into some of these rooms, I wouldn't have the connections that I have. So that's why it's important for platforms like Black Women Hustle to exist. So I that takes me to my next question. And I know it's not a one size fits all, but tell me, what mistakes do you see entrepreneurs make when it comes to marketing? And what would you say is, and again, it's not a balancing act, but what would you say has been the most beneficial for you, the offline marketing or the online marketing?
Ooh, you're right. It's like a multidimensional question. I'll start with the mistake. The first mistake I see is people throwing the brand out on social media and assuming that it's going to take off, or they're just waiting for the traffic to come. That's not how that works. Before you even start marketing, you have to start with a marketing strategy. What
Mhm.
is the plan that we have in place? Have we tested anything? Have we done the research to see who we should be reaching, why we're reaching them, what's going to happen after, what are they attracted to, what are they watching, listening to, what are they purchasing? There's a lot of research that goes into marketing before you just start putting the business out there. And to me, that's the main step that people miss. And a part of that research leads to developing that strategy that tells you, okay, these are the avenues we're going to use, these are the channels we're going to use, or these are the specific people that we want to reach. There are a lot of questions that need to be answered before you start putting your business out there and expecting people to show up, because without that strategy, you're basically marketing to everybody, and anybody in marketing knows that marketing to everybody is a hard no. Like if you tell me the audience is everybody, it's no, unless it's toilet paper or paper towels. Like, no, that's not how this works. Um, but as far as what's most beneficial, it depends on who you are. Black Women Hustle is a networking platform. So we can always network online. We can also network in person in rooms. We've had sold out rooms of women who've come from all over the country just to network and connect with each other. And that has led to some of the most beautiful partnerships, masterminds, other events that women were inspired to create based on something that they attended just to expand their networks. And then the online reach is the beautiful thing about online reach is there are no limits. You can get in touch with uh, somebody's assistant that's connected to this millionaire or billionaire that you've been wanting to connect with. Excuse me. Somebody that works at one of the corporations that you really want to partner with. There are no limits when you're online because you have access to everybody. No one's untouchable when it comes to being online. A lot of people may think so, but it all depends on how you're approaching people. And again, what it is you want out of this equation. How are you presenting it? Is it something that's going to be mutually beneficial to them? Is it going to benefit their company? Because if not, a lot of people won't necessarily find interest unless it's something that has to do with philanthropy. But it really just depends on the type of business you have, but I see benefits in both. I'm going to always encourage you to get in the room, and I'm always going to encourage you to network online as much as possible.
And I'm glad you answered it the way you did. I know it was a loaded question again, but you mentioned, of course, it ties back to strategy, knowing your business and knowing where your audience is. Sometimes they might be more offline than online or vice versa. But as long as you diversify your audience and you know where they are, that's the key to growth and success in that strategy. So all back to strategy. So I want you to brag about Black Women Hustle because there have been so many accomplishments that I can't even remember because it's just, something, it's almost like it's something every day. So tell us more about Black Women Hustle, the app, and other things that you have in the pipeline.
Yeah, so we recently launched the Black Women Hustle app, which is a real-time networking app for Black women, entrepreneurs, professionals, creatives, whatever you are, whatever you define yourself as. This is a space for us, right? And it was created because when you get on social media apps, there's limitation, there's algorithms, there are loopholes in order to get connected with people, just in order to make a direct connection with people. We remove all of that, and a part of that strategy is specifically in place because, like I said before, there are a lot of doors that are shut on us, and a lot of people, there's that gatekeeping component. And I was like, I don't want that. I want a space for us. When we log in, we can say, I want to connect with her. I can add her to my connections list. I can send her a message to say, hey, this is who I am, and I would love to get to know more about your company, or I would really love to connect, or I want to collaborate. There's an actual collaboration thread where you can share, my business has this opportunity, or we're looking for pitches, or we're looking for sponsors, or we're seeking volunteers, or we want to collaborate because we're trying to curate this specific type of event in this city, and we're looking for other people who want to join us. There are so many opportunities, and this is a space for you to just say, I'm looking for XYZ and I'm going to find it. You get to use this whole network of people. There are founders, there are presidents of companies, there are creatives, there are strategists. There's so many people who are in here who are willing to help you. There's education in there. You can watch different snippets of Black women just giving you free game, just to say, hey, this is what you should be doing in your business. This is the space that was created because we wanted Black women to have everything they needed in one place without having to do the research, without having to go through loopholes or complete multiple applications just to get an answer. Or you just find information that should always be readily available to us. So the app has been, of course, the latest thing, and it's growing beautifully. I'm so proud of it. I'm definitely loving to see all the beautiful faces. Every day I log in, there's a new face. So it's just beautiful to see how much is growing. We recently partnered with ADP, and ADP provides different business solutions for any company, any type of entity, and they help with taxes, compliance, payroll, human resources. If you have a company you're hiring, they'll actually post your job opportunities to hundreds of job boards. They have all these opportunities for minority owned businesses, as well as supplier diversity opportunities. So if you have products or services and you're interested in what that looks like to work as a supplier, become one for ADP. We have the connections and all these things inside of this partnership, and they're specifically designed to work for minority owned businesses. And as far as what's next, you never know. Like it's just it's a journey. It's a journey. So I'm like, of course, there's always something up my sleeve. Anybody who knows me knows, like, I always have a plan. There's always something that's next. But as of now, we are really focusing on the app and just continuing to grow this space to make it, even more beautiful and bigger than what it already is, just to elevate Black women and continue to help us achieve our goals.
So first off, congratulations on the launch of your app and all of the other accomplishments that we haven't even gotten to today. And that partnership is huge because a lot of women entrepreneurs, especially women of color, they need access to the financial planning, the tax prep, those resources that we don't think about that we really need because we focus on the branding, the marketing, the colors, the logo, but it takes more than that to build a successful business. So if you have not connected with Black Women Hustle, you need to connect with them. Tell us, and since she can't spill the tea on what's up her sleeve, because I knew it was something, tell us how can we keep up with you to learn about what's next, and then also how they can join your platform.
Absolutely. So you can go to Black Woman Hustle, and it's spelled with BLK only. Don't spell out the word black. I mean, you'll be reverted, but BLK Women Hustle, HUSTLE. You can go to blackwomenhustle.com. You can find us on all social media platforms at Black Women Hustle. On Twitter, we're Black Women Hustle 1. And if you want to download the Black Women Hustle app, it's blackwomenhustle.app. Or if you're on the Black Women Hustle website, any of our outlets, we have the app link because that's how serious we are about making sure when you click the link in our bio, look at this app, honey. Like, get in here, get in this space, because this is how you'll get connected with us and how you'll grow with us. It's what we want to see from you. It's what we're hoping that comes as a part of you being a part of our community. And feel free to share your opportunities too. It's not just about, taking what you need. We want to create the space for you to give what you have too. It's a lot of women. We have so much to provide to others, and we just don't have the space or the platform for the people to see it. And that's what we want.
Yeah, definitely. So be sure to connect with Lashawn and the Black Women Hustle platform. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Are there any final words of advice you want to share with our audience?
Ooh, final words of advice. Oh, yeah, be yourself. Be yourself. I say that from a space of experience, and from starting to where I am now. learning to be myself and leaning into being myself and presenting myself as I am without a mask um, has been one of the most liberating processes possible. So I think and doors open much faster when you are yourself because you know who you are. You're very certain about who you are. You've heard me say it plenty of times in this conversation to just go in and say, like, I know who I am. Know yourself, be yourself. Remain true to who you are, unwavering in that, and just continue to grow, sis. Grow in that, lean into that.
That's so true because I accept my weirdness, my geekiness. And, if I'm feeling awkward in a situation, I accept that too. So that is great advice to
Thank
be yourself no matter what. Thank you,
you.
LaShawn, for joining us today. And I have just enjoyed talking to you. And I know I'll see you at some event coming up soon. And I just want to wish you continued success.
Thank you so much, Avery. I appreciate you. I love the growth of Black Women Moguls. I'm looking forward to everything you have coming up to, and don't ever hesitate to let me know how I can support.
And likewise, that's what it's all about. Well, thank you so much, everyone. This has been another segment of Lady Mogul Talk, and I will see you in the next segment.